Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not my problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem,
but it's certainly someone's problem.
All right, ghosties, listen up. We've got a little spooky surprise for you this month.
Ooh, I love surprises. What is it? Is it candy? Ghosts?
Better. If you join our Patreon any time in the month of September, you will get 50% off your first month with code SPOOKY50.
Half off? That's basically free. And you get all the goodies, exclusive content, mini episodes, bonus stories, basically all the paranormal weirdness you can handle.
Exactly. So if you've been thinking, should I join? The answer is yes. Half off is not something that the ghosts do very often.
Go to patreon.com/notmyghost, and use code SPOOKY50 and come haunt us. I mean, come join us.
Well, it's been a, pretty boring, normal week for me. What about you, Kelly?
Oh, well, same old stuff. Tuesday was involved in an accident that left me on the concrete, breaking my fall with my face and messing up my left arm. There's no fracture, but we still don't know what's going on with it. Stitches in my forehead. I have a little
She's got a Harry Potter scar.
And right now Jen can see me, and I've got a big old black and blue bruised chin, and I've got 2 black eyes, and I got some road rash. I'm having a lot of pain in my ribs. Nothing showed up on the CAT scan, but the doctor at the emergency room said it doesn't always pick up on fractures in the ribs. CAT scan is the best way to pick up on it, but if it doesn't pick up on it, it doesn't mean there's no fracture in the ribs. And I'm having extreme amounts of pain on my right side. But, other than that, it's been pretty boring.
Other than that, just that little thing.
I am very okay with the amount of pain that I'm in. Not that it's fun, but I'm just grateful that I'm here to be in the amount of pain that I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been putting off recording for a couple of days now. It's been a little less than a week since your accident. She was in a lot of pain. She's still in a lot of pain. So she's here, even though she's in a lot of pain. And this is I don't want to forget to mention our scripted, unscripted banter.
Correct. I sent you a text message from the ambulance, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You tell me
fuzzy.
While you were.
It's fuzzy to me what happened directly after the accident.
No, I got the text in the middle of my workday that just said, I've been in an accident. I'm in the ambulance. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fun. Let me dig into that and figure out what the fuck happened.
But I think that you should be very, very flattered that one of the first people I thought to tell that I was in a major accident was you.
So shortly after I got the text, I called my mom for something else, and we were supposed to be recording that night, and there was something going on with the Pokemon Go thing, and I told my mom that I couldn't go out because we were recording. So I told my mom, I said, oh yeah, I just heard from Kelly, and she's on her way to the hospital. She was in an accident. And my mom was like, she called you from the ambulance? I'm like, she texted me, but yeah. And she was like, you're one of the first people. I was like, yes, I am. I'm her best friend. Of course I'm one of the first people she's going to tell.
Well, we were trying to get a hold of Nick and Blaze because they're my emergency contacts. But Nick was on nights, working nights. So that's why I have Blaze as my second contact because if they can't get a hold of Nick, Blaze always has his cell phone on him. Well, it just so happens Blaze is on nights right now too. So the
Yeah.
first thing I did is I called Rebecca and I told her, I said, "Wake up, Dad. I was in an accident. I'm in an ambulance. This is the emergency room they're taking me to." I was like, "I'm okay." And she goes, "Okay, okay." And then
Okay.
I guess I
Yeah.
texted you.
Yeah. Because that was my first thing. I was like, well, thought to myself initially when I got the text, I, started freaking out. But I'm like, she's coherent enough to send me a text message with no mistakes. There was no misspellings. Nothing was wrong with the text message. So I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. I'm sure if she's mostly okay, she's not on death's door if she's sending me a text message.
Maybe I sent it from beyond.
Maybe you did. Then we would have a whole different thing to be talking about today on the
We would.
podcast.
I'm actually dead, people.
She's a ghost.
This
Welcome to the
podcast
first podcast that has a ghost co-host.
this podcast just got a whole lot more haunted.
Yeah. We do say we're the podcast that haunts back. So now, really, we are.
We are.
But today we are doing a paranormal postcards. It's going to be a little bit different. I am going to be reading all of the stories because Kelly can't really see without her glasses that are all scratched. She has her glasses, but they're all scratched up and she hasn't had a chance to get them replaced yet. So I told her I would read all the stories.
Yeah, because you're wonderful. I might even have to take my
I know.
glasses off because of the black eyes.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts sitting there, but the headphones that I'm wearing right now are kind of keeping it up a little bit off of the nose. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I hope you all are ready to listen to my voice for the next hour-ish.
I know I am.
Awesome. Well, I don't have a question for you today, unfortunately. I don't know why there's not a
Right.
question in this script, but there isn't. So we're just going to dive right in because we got a lot of fun stories to tell you.
Sounds great to me.
Okay. Our first story is from Birdie. Y'all
Oh,
remember
Birdie.
Birdie?
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. We haven't had one from Birdie in a while.
Yeah.
And this one is just titled A Quickie, which I know where that makes my mind go. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I assume she probably just means a quick story, which it's not that short, but not overly long. Okay. Birdie says, "Hello again, you gorgeous, spooky bitches." Hi, Birdie.
Hi, Birdie.
How's it hanging? Well, we just told you.
Yep.
I've got a quick one for you. So around Christmas, the wife bought groceries and we were packing them away. We, meaning Trey, S, and I. We are the only Earthside people in this house. I love the way she puts that. Anyway, we are packing things away and we hear voices in the living room. I'm not even shocked anymore. I keep doing my job. S, what's that noise? Me, double check. Yup, TV. Me, TV, duh. S, who turned it on? Me. Well, every human living in this house is here, so S. Well, somebody wants something. Better take note. It was a boomerang promo, so I invited them to watch Scooby Doo with me. All good. Now, our TV can only be turned on and operated two ways.
Wait,
One, touching the
wait,
little
wait. I have to let Birdie know that if she ever needs somebody to watch Scooby Doo with her, I'm down.
same. I
Yeah.
love me some Scooby Doo. It's
Okay.
classic.
Now back to the story. Number 1.
Back to the story. Yes, number 1, touching the little button on the underside of the TV itself. And number 2, getting on your phone, getting on our Wi-Fi, open the app, syncing to the TV, and then turning it on. That sounds like a lot of steps that
It does sound like a lot of steps.
they have done this several times since. The most notable time was closer to Christmas. They turned on the TV and S went to it to talk to them to figure out what they wanted. It was on a BBC promo. S was like, "Dude, I want to watch BBC too, but we don't have that. Pick something else." It then turned to a Dolly Parton and Michael Bublé Christmas special. Okay, she tuned into that. So I leave this on while I body double with Kim and Abby on a video chat. At one point, the music stops. So I get up to go check the TV. It had been paused. The TV turns off, then turns back on to a different music video. Apparently, not the right one because it turns off again. At this point, I tell the ladies on video that they need to watch this because when I tell people this shit, I'm sure they think I'm exaggerating. Altogether, we watched the TV turn back on, pause, then play 90s hip hop. Out loud, I say, "So, y'all went from shaking bells to shaking ass, huh?
Oh,
Interesting."
sorry. This is gonna be hard because laughing makes my ribs hurt. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. It has since happened at least 2 more times. Once when I came home from hanging out with a friend, in which case I stepped into the house, the TV turned on to Mayfair Witches. I told them we already watched all the episodes and they had to choose something else, and the TV turned off. The other time I came downstairs, they had turned the TV onto a channel I didn't know existed, to a whole ass show. It was like a black comedy sitcom, IDK dude. Anyway, that's my story. Love ya. Bye. Thank you so much, Birdie. We love your stories.
We really do.
You always give us a good laugh.
Yup.
Okay, our next story is from Emily Dare. Now, Emily has her own podcast called Do You Dare?
Oh, that's a great name.
And she is, yeah, it is a great name, especially considering her last name.
Yep.
We connected on Instagram, and that's when she sent me this story. And I sent her, I think, a story from me. And now we're in the Creators Collective together with a bunch of other awesome podcasts that we will eventually start adding some promos for them so you can all go check them out. But I've been behind and haven't gotten to that yet, but it's coming. Okay, so Emily says, "Hey, Jen and Kelly. It's Em here from Do You Dare podcast. It was lovely to connect with you guys on Instagram, so I hope this story is one you can enjoy. Please excuse the Britishness of it." That's okay. We love the Britishness. Okay, on to my story. So this took place around the time when I was 10 or 11, and I have changed some of the names, but let me tell you about my maybe not so terrifying chimney.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. As a kid, I grew up in this old school house towards the end of this quiet street. Now, growing up on the Isle of Wight, there is sort of nature and history everywhere, and this was true for where we lived at the time. The road at our end tapered off into a gravely farm track that led down to a series of working farms, and about 5 minutes away was a castle. Just a castle, just chilling 5 minutes from the house. That's fine, right? That's normal.
That is one of my favorite things about England when I went, is just walking through the woods, and then we would just stumble across, like, these ruins of what clearly was some kind of a castle of some sort, or, like, you just bump into castles everywhere out there. It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
When I went to England, I just was in London, so we didn't really walk through any woods or we saw the castle.
Right. So I went twice to England, and I was in London for a total of 2 days between those 2 trips.
Mm,
So
okay.
we spent our time in the English countryside, not
That's
too
where I wanna go.
far from where Ed Sheeran grew up,
Oh, okay.
and it is gorgeous.
I bet. I mean, he does have a whole song called "The Castle on the Hill," so
He does. Yeah.
yeah.
That's probably one that I saw when I was there.
Probably. You probably saw the castle on the
I
hill.
probably saw the castle. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, you did. Anywho, so about 5 minutes away was a castle that had been there since the 12th century where we used to play a lot growing up. Again, I just where did you play as a kid? A
Seriously.
castle. So jealous. I played in the street, guys.
Same.
The road itself was quiet, and as children, it was the kind of road where you could ride your bikes and play freely. And during this time, I met a girl my age who lived a little further up. And for the sake of the story, I'm going to call her Piper. I love that name. I know you do too, Kelly.
That's what I wanted to name Katie,
Yeah, I love
and my
that name.
husband said no,
What a jerk. Such a
and
good
now he
name.
likes the name.
Well, then it gets a little too late.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to just get a female dog and name her Piper.
I wish I could get a dog.
I know, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring that up and make you sad.
It's okay. I'm sad all the time about Boogie.
I'm going to manifest Piper for you. Friends, listeners, ghosties, help me manifest Piper for Kelly.
Please, please.
Manifest it for her, please. Any witches listening, include her in your next ritual. Also include just a healing spell as well, because she needs that too.
No, I don't even care what kind of dog it is. Like,
Yeah.
I just want that love.
Yes, she needs it. But send Kelly all your good healing doggy vibes.
Please.
Thanks. Back to the story. So Piper and I became best friends in the way you do at that age when you're in close proximity and you have the chance to hang out all the time. Her and I were very alike, and we were at each other's house constantly. Now, one of those things you have to know about Piper during this time was that she was absolutely obsessed with, get this, you ready, Kelly? Doctor Who.
Oh, so are we.
We like Piper.
That's why we're calling her Piper?
Oh, maybe.
Billy Piper?
Yeah, maybe. Which, by the way, sorry, sidetrack. Billy Piper is in the second season of Wednesday.
Yeah, I heard that. I haven't seen the first
Yeah.
season yet, so.
It's strange, which by the way, shame. Go watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll put it
It's
on.
short. It's only 8 episodes for both seasons. Season 1 is 8 episodes, season 2 is 8 episodes. So it's short. They go quick. But it's weird listening to her because she talks an American accent in the show.
That would be weird. Yeah.
It is. I see her face and I'm like, that's not how you sound in my head.
Right.
So it's strange. But she plays a good character. She's not huge, not in it a lot, but I have a feeling season 3, based on the way it ended, she might be in it a little bit more. So we'll see. No spoilers. So for anyone who doesn't know, back to the story, Doctor Who is a British sci-fi TV show about a time-traveling person named the Doctor who would fight aliens and robots, etc., and could actually be kind of scary at times, especially to a kid. But my friend loved it and had a huge crush on an actor who had recently taken over the role at the time. Do you want to take a guess which actor?
I'm going to guess it's either Matt Smith or David Tennant, but we're going with Piper.
It's a pretty good
so
guess.
I'm going to say David Tennant because they're
Yeah,
calling her
David
Piper.
Tennant.
Okay.
Yeah, David Tennant. Good guess.
Mm-hmm.
So Piper had called for a sleepover, which we'd agreed would take place at my house, as at the time I had one of those old chunky box TVs in my room. And she said she'd bring over her Doctor Who boxes and we'd have a TV marathon. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
To give you some context about my house at the time, it was old. It was 2 stories and faded red brick with large bay window that jutted out the front on both levels. There were 2 sets of chimneys and fireplaces built into the house. One set ran up the left edge, leaving classic fireplace in the downstairs lounge. And my parents' bedroom, the second set that left the same old school fireplaces in the dining room, was what was my bedroom. That's amazing. I love fireplaces.
I love
Especially
them
like the old ones. Like if I ever own a house, I will make a old looking fireplace. Inside the second floor sat at a level and a half with the main stairs, which you met from the front door leading up to the bathroom, and my brother's bedroom at the back of the house. Off that landing was a mini set of about 3 steps that led up to another landing, taking you back to the front of the house or to the doorways to my bedroom and to my parents. So again, sorry, side note, can you picture that in your head at all, Kelly? That description?
No.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I'd have to draw it out.
Yeah, no, I cannot picture that in my head. I've always thought that when people describe things. This is kind of a callback to our psychology of thought episode, but yeah, I can't. When someone tells me something like that, it goes in one ear, out the other. I cannot picture it at all.
Same.
But I'm assuming you did a great job at describing that. We just don't have very
Yeah,
visual
it's not
brains.
you at all. It
Not
is
you.
us.
It's definitely us. I'm that way. That's why I cannot take verbal directions. Like if someone's like, "Oh, well then you go up here and then you turn right and then after that you're going to go down about a mile." Nope. You lost me at
The second somebody starts to give me directions, I instantly panic because I know I'm not gonna,
yes.
and then they're like, "Okay, that's it," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks," and they're like, "You have no idea what I
Yeah.
just said, do you?" And I'm like, "No, not at all."
None. Nope. Sorry. My room was decorated at the time with a sea mural my mother had painted on one wall with the fireplace taking up the other. I bet that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
There was a window seat that sat in front of the large bay windows that overlooked the street below and a bunk bed in the back corner, but one of those that had a bed on top and the desk with a pull out sofa bed underneath. Next to the fireplace, between that and the window, lay a small cabinet that held my TV. That evening, as Piper arrived, we decided that we'd set up on the floor in front of the TV, laying out cushions and sleeping bags that we knew we weren't really going to need as we planned to pull an all nighter. Which really, I never slept well, but kid me was the kind of weirdo who enjoyed that and would function perfectly well the following day. Adult me would die. Fair enough.
Same.
Then again, I was the youngest teenager who, when I couldn't sleep, I'd go wandering the streets and up to the castle at 2 a.m. to go watch the stars or look for ghosts.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
That
I
like,
would
come on.
definitely have done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a castle within walking distance of your house
Yeah.
and you're not there looking for ghosts every night, are you really living?
I clearly not. I can't
No,
imagine that I would want to do anything other than go explore that castle and see if I can find some ghosties.
absolutely. So young me was wild and liked to give my mom breakdowns. Thanks, insomnia and mental illness. We feel you. Also, this sounds terrifying. No, it doesn't. It sounds amazing. But you have to remember this was the 2000s, and that area of the island was known to be an incredibly safe place, though that did nothing to relax my mother. Oh, that's the terrifying. She was going, it sounds terrifying because she's a young child out in the middle of the night.
Right.
I went, people were afraid of ghosts, whereas I'm not. Okay, that makes sense.
It does make more sense.
But it was a different time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Like I've said before in this podcast, back when I was a kid, they actually had to ask our parents on TV
Yeah.
if they knew where we were at 10 p.m. because they didn't. They
Yeah.
didn't.
Anyway, back to the story in hand. Piper and I were enjoying our night. We were young, staying up way past our bedtime in that sort of childhood defiance that only seemed to embolden us more. And we had a whole host of snacks to keep us fueled. Sounds like an amazing time. It was probably around 4 a.m., the sky just beginning to change from the inky black of the night to dust dark blues of early morning. Love that. So
Yeah.
descriptive. As we pressed play on yet another episode of our TV show, both of us equally spooked by its content as my friend made heart eyes at a certain doctor who had retaken the screen when I heard it. A faint scratching sound. I turned to my friend to ask if she had heard it over the low volume on my old TV, but she was too engrossed in the scene playing out to have noticed, waving it off as probably something that was in my head thanks to the particularly creepy episode that had been playing prior. Was it Blink? Was it Blink? Let me know if it was
It
Blink.
had to be Blink.
Blink's super creepy. That's like the creepiest, I think. I mean, there's other creepy episodes, but let us know. I tried to brush it off, but only a little while later, the noise came again, louder this time, a scratching against metal. I turned to my friend only to realize this time she had heard it too. It wasn't in my head. What was that? She asked, the early signs of fear washing her features. I don't know, I told her. We lowered the volume of the TV even more, just waiting with bated breaths to see if the noise would show itself again. We didn't have to wait long for the eerie scratching to restart. I think it's coming from the chimney, I pointed out. We continued to listen, and sure enough, we had located the source of the sound. We huddled together on our cushioned bed, debating who should be the one to get closer and investigate. I put up an argument that was swiftly beaten by being told that it was my house and therefore I had to be the one to do it. I mean, that seems logical. I crept close to the dark fireplace only to retreat back after the sound came again, only this time it was accompanied with bits of twigs and dirt falling from above. Okay, that definitely tells you something's in there. Like you're not
Right.
just maybe hearing it from somewhere else, now you're actually seeing stuff fall out of it. I wanted to nope the fuck out of there and get my dad. I was reminded that it was 4 in the morning and we definitely should have been asleep. And at that age, a ghost or demon or weeping angel told you it had to be blank.
Yep, it
It
had to
had to
be
be
Blake.
blank. Had to be blank. Is nothing compared to a pissed off parent who's been woken up way before sunrise. So instead, we chose to take the tried and tested method of if you ignore the scary thing, it's not there.
That's
I've
right.
done that a bunch.
I do
Yeah,
it all the
doesn't
time.
exist if you ignore it.
Right.
We turned back up the TV and tried to focus on the screen, but the sense of fear refused to leave us. We looked over at one another as the sounds continued, making eye contact but refusing to say a word. It's not happening. We don't acknowledge it. It's not there. It can't get us if we pretend it isn't real. Another hour and another episode went by, but the noises never stopped. We tried unsuccessfully to ignore the sounds of our new chimney ghost as I silently blamed my parents for picking an old ass creepy house with retro chimneys when they decided they wanted to start a family. All of a sudden, we heard a bang, the sound of something dropping. Piper let out a quick yelp as I felt my soul leave my body through my ass as I jumped back. Oh. Startled by the noise that had come once again from the chimney, I've never been good with noise jump scares, and I'm still not. A source of great amusement to my fiance every time I suggest we watch horror movies. I held my breath once more as she forced me forward to go and check it out. As I got closer, another noise sounded, a frantic flapping, a panic squeak. What the bloody hell is this ghost doing? I asked myself. Then I plucked up the courage to put my head into the fireplace and look up the grate that blocked the shaft of the chimney bit from below. My friend, still staring anxiously at me, startled as I let out a deep laugh. Some ghost, I said through watering eyes, unable to stop the belly laughter that now seeped from my chest. We spent the past few hours terrified of a pigeon that's now fallen down the chimney. I knew it had to be some type of animal. I was
Right.
thinking raccoon, but I don't know. Or do they have raccoons in England?
I mean, my first thought is, I don't see why not, but I really have no idea, so I don't know what would
I have no
qualify
idea
me to
either.
know that at all. So
No,
maybe.
maybe. That was my first thought, but it was a pigeon. So that's my tale of how our terrifying chimney ghost just turned out to be a pigeon with no sense of direction. If you're wondering about the fate of the pigeon, my dad did get awoken and saved it from the fireplace before releasing it back outside. And if I had had a pound/dollar for every time a bird fell down my chimney in an old spooky house, I'd have two, which, as Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb would say, isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. And it did at least 14 years later when a baby seagull, my fiance decided to name Shankly after the Liverpool manager came tumbling down my new chimney as well. It was also rescued and taken to a bird sanctuary. Maybe in the future, I'll tell you about the castle I grew up by, the lady in red my fiance is convinced haunts our current house, or the times my friend Piper used to sleepwalk and say the most demonic things. But for now, that's all, folks. No, don't you dare. You better send those stories in to us.
Right, we'll take
I
all
need
of
all three
those.
of them. All of
Yes,
them, please, and
please.
thank you. I hope you enjoyed my not so scary tale, and please come check us out on our with our oh so British accents over at our podcast, Do You Dare? We will. I have actually. They're pretty great. So I definitely recommend them. Keep telling us all your spooky stories and happy almost 1 year podcast birthday. Obviously, we've had this in our inbox for a little bit.
But thank you.
All, but thank you. Yeah. All of the spook scares and misplaced pigeons from your friend across the pond, M.
I like it.
I like it too. Thank you, M. Please send us the rest of the stories because they were amazing.
Yes,
That
they
one was
were.
amazing. And you have such a great writing style.
Right.
Yeah, so I love that. Please send us more. Okay, are you ready, Kelly, for our next story?
I am.
I feel like we've been waiting for this one for a while.
Oh, what is it? I don't know what it is because you're reading them. I'm not.
I know. The Necromancer portal from
Oh,
Jenndi.
Jenndi.
Jenndi. We know we
Hey.
mentioned you on our last episode about the story, so we've been waiting for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jenndi says, I am not a medium, not in the conventional sense of the word anyway. I've often in the past wish I had those specific talents, me too. But I don't have spirits coming to me and asking me to connect them with loved ones. I don't hear whispers of the dead in my everyday waking hours. Occasionally, I will sense the dead or see a ghost or hear them, but they are not what I would call a constant presence looming in my life. I can forget that they are there. That said, I've always had a strong connection to the spirit world. Some of my earliest memories involve the strange and the unexplained. I will eventually write more of my experiences from my younger years, but I'll begin with this. Yes, you better be writing those in.
Please.
The story of what happens when a teenage sleepover includes something a little stronger than a Ouija board. When I was a young teenager, I became very interested in the occult. Inevitably, this interest began with Wicca, as most of the available books approach the craft in that manner. Of course, I read as many as I could, spending hours in the metaphysical section of Barnes and Nobles. These were the years before Buffy the Vampire Slayer and The Craft, so those books were still tucked into a single shelf along with tarot cards and runes. It took a while to discern what interested me and what didn't. I wasn't enamored with the religious aspects of the books, so I picked and chose, finding what I could mesh with my own energy. That's what I love about witchcraft is that Wicca is different because Wicca is a religion, but generally, if you're not practicing Wicca, which I don't, witchcraft is very like everyone does it differently. There's no right or wrong way. You
Yeah.
kind of approach it in what feels right to you.
Yeah.
One such book, a favorite of mine, was called The Crone's Book of Words by Valerie Worth. It has since been reprinted as The Crone's Book of Magical Words, as the original was first published in 1971. I don't remember where I got this book or when, but I loved it. It had the feel of a proper storybook spell book rather than a religious instruction book. It consisted of only spells written in a poetic format, and these spells covered everything from how to make your hair grow to how to speak to snakes and how to raise spirits from the dead. That's quite the array of spells, but yeah,
Yes.
that sounds great. It so happened one day that I was allowed to have a slumber party with several of my friends. I've forgotten by now who attended, but the incident which occurred that night is still very clear in my mind. This must have been when I was in high school, since my older sister had moved out of the house and her bedroom, once the master suite, had been converted into 2 rooms so that there could be a proper guest room in the house. My friends and I were allowed to use the guest room for our sleepover, very likely because my own room was a disaster. I feel that as a
Yeah.
child. Yeah. Now the usual sleepover traditions, which apparently we're all about sleepovers in this episode. Of course, is to tell scary stories and try ghost games like Bloody Mary or the Ouija board. I have tried both of these games in the past without any actual results. I was done with those games. I decided thusly that we should proceed to perform an actual seance. Not just any seance, no. There would be no table tipping or knocks on the walls for us. We were going to perform a spell from my book. This was to be my first foray in the world of necromancy. I just so happened to have all the ingredients for the spell at hand. I used a river rock for the center of stone and a hollow bone I found at the Findhorn Bay off the North Sea as the wand of bone. Everyone just has bones laying around, right? That's
Yeah,
normal.
of course.
We formed a circle of twine with 12 knots in it and all sat in the center. I spoke the words and tapped on the stone, and we all sat back to wait. We didn't have to wait long. After a moment, something happened. We began to see a disk of brownish darkness in the center of the circle above the stone. It seemed to swirl and grow larger. We, being teenage girls, freaked the fluff out. Immediately, I told the others not to say anything. That was maybe the one thing I did that night that was actually a good idea. The bad idea was breaking the circle and turning the light on right away. We didn't end the spell properly. We didn't close anything out. That is never a good idea. I got a notebook and pencils and passed out paper, telling everyone to draw or write what they'd seen. The results matched. I can remember exactly what I drew in the upper margin of a piece of notebook paper. We were all spooked. We didn't try that spell again, moving on to the other games or stories and tried to calm ourselves. I don't remember when we actually went to sleep or if I dreamed of anything strange. It was last century after all. That's fair. We'll give you that.
Yeah, I guess we have to.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone a century ago.
Seriously.
That room never felt quite the same after that, though. It was always cold, and there was an eerie, hollow feeling about it. Then there was the sleep paralysis.
Ugh.
My room shared a wall with the guest room, as did my sister's room. I stayed in both rooms over the years I lived there, and I had intense sleep paralysis in both. One of the first instances I remembered wasn't too long after that seance of ours. A little creature was staring down at me when I woke up and then floated through the wall back into the guest room. No, burn it down.
Burn it. Yeah.
Burn it. No, no. I don't need to see a little creature staring at me when I'm sleeping.
Nope. I don't need to see a big one, a little one, a teeny
No,
tiny one.
any creature except Ellie. Ellie's the only thing that's allowed to stare at me when I'm sleeping.
Right. Or me when I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which actually that would be kind of weird if I just rolled over and you were staring at me.
Don't worry, I wait for you to fall asleep.
Thanks. I'd be a little freaked out. I'd be like, is she possessed or something? And just, this is how all the horror movies start.
It is.
I had so many sleep paralysis incidents in that house. It could be a coincidence, and I didn't really make the connection for a very long time. But I think we created a portal that night. That hollow feeling mixed with the sleep paralysis certainly makes it seem like something was going on in that room. I have since moved out of that house and I've had sleep paralysis only rarely at the new house. Maybe I should try that ritual again someday. I only know I won't be doing it indoors. Yeah, and close it out.
Seriously.
Thank you for the time reading this story. I have plenty more where that came from, like the time I went with a friend to an abandoned sanatorium and came back with an attachment. Where is that? Why is that not already in our inbox, Jendy?
That's kind of it's funny to me that it's one of the things I like about Jendy is every time she sends us a story, she's like, I don't know, maybe I'll send you this. And it's always a story that kind of sounds like it's a bigger story than the
Yeah.
story she sent. And we've just
Yes.
slowly been building. Like one day we're going to get to Jendy's like grand story and it's going to blow our fucking minds. Like, I don't know what it's
It
going to
is.
be. Is it going to prove aliens exist? Is it going to prove we're in a simulation? I don't know what's going to happen when we finally get
I don't
there,
know either.
but I'm loving this progression.
I do too. I absolutely love it. For now, I'll leave you here. Thank you for the wonderful podcast, and I wish you so much success in the future. Jendy.
Thank you, Jendy.
Thanks, Jendy. You're awesome. We appreciate you. and send us all of the stories. And the last story that we have for you today is from Bree, who is another podcaster from our creative collective that sent this story over. And Bree does the Something Strange podcast. And I have
Awesome.
listened to them too. So please go check that one out because it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hello, I provided 2 stories, but have others if you need them. Yes, we need them.
We
Please
need them
send
all.
all of them. One is from the house I grew up in, and the other is from my time working on the Gettysburg battlefield.
Ooh.
Mm. Let me know if you have any follow up thoughts or questions. For some background, the house I grew up in was fairly active as far as paranormal activity goes. My dad and I would both see a shadow entity go up the stairs. I only learned my parents saw things after I was an adult. They apparently didn't want to scare me as a child. That's fair.
Yeah.
My parents also saw a rocking chair move on its own pretty often in the middle bedroom, which was later turned into a computer room. The house is in Berks County, PA, but I won't go into much detail there. My parents thought my maternal grandfather was one of the spirits. I love when you have a good family haunting.
Yeah.
It's great. Feels more comforting, I feel like,
Apparently my
if you
grandmother's
know.
with me.
Yeah. Well, according to that psychic.
Yeah, that would be the opposite of comfort.
Yeah, that would be shit. This bitch is fucking watching me.
Serious. She didn't hate you. You never met her.
I'm I never met her, but I've heard stories and I'm pretty sure she hated you.
Yeah.
This would have occurred my senior year of high school, 2010 to 2011. My parents were out at a work event for my dad's job, and my boyfriend at the time and I were watching a movie on the TV. You were allowed to have a boy alone in your house?
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I definitely had boys alone in my house in my senior year of high
No, I
school.
was not allowed to be alone in a house with a boy. No, Jesus, that would make Jesus
Yeah.
cry. That was not allowed
Yeah.
in our house.
Not allowed.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, my parents didn't really care at that point. For context, I'm going to give the layout of the house's first floor because the story will make a lot more sense. Wow, Kelly and I will do our best to understand that.
We will. Oh,
We'll try really, really hard. The living room is at the front of the house on the ground floor. Next was the dining room, which had a staircase leading to the second floor. Okay, I'm already lost.
I want to know if the dining room was straight ahead, to the left, or to the right.
It wouldn't help me either way. Hopefully, everybody else is following along, though. At the back of the house was the kitchen with doors that led to the basement and the back door. As my boyfriend and I were watching the movie, we heard a door open. I assumed the back door. Saw a shadow come from the kitchen, go through the dining room, and then up the stairs. At first, we thought maybe my parents got home and my mom had to go to the bathroom so badly that she didn't bother to turn the lights on. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
But then we didn't hear or see anything else. So we checked out the kitchen and the upstairs to find we were alone in the house. I even called my parents and they were still at the event. Well, that's definitely strange. That reminds me of the one story that I have of thinking something walked into
Right.
my basement and then
Mm-hmm.
nothing was there. I don't know if I've ever told that on the podcast, but I
You
will one
have.
day.
You have.
Have
Yeah.
I? Okay. Okay. Yeah. That definitely reminds me of that. Okay. The next story. I worked for a battlefield horse tour company in Gettysburg, PA for 3 seasons after undergrad. That has to be fascinating.
Yeah. I
Yeah. I bet you have more than just this one story, too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I would love
Yeah.
nothing like if I could get a job working somewhere in Gettysburg, even not even necessarily doing like haunted stuff or just somewhere near the battlefields or in like the museums or
Yeah.
something, or one of the old like restaurants. Not that I can run around on my feet and like serve tables like I did when I was in my 20s. But, I would just love to live and work out there.
Yeah. Our start time was fairly early to get the horses ready for the early morning tours. The drive to the barn took me through parts of the battlefield, past areas like Pickett's Charge, the Peach Orchard, etc. As I was driving, I saw what I thought at first was a reenactor galloping their horses towards the road from the Confederate side of the battlefield. This was concerning for a few reasons. The visibility wasn't great, so there was the risk of the horse tripping or becoming injured. You're not supposed to be galloping on the battlefield, and I was concerned the reenactor was intoxicated or just really cocky to be doing this. There's wooden fencing on both sides of the road, and the horse and the rider were not slowing down as they approached the road. I started to slow my car down and was just waiting to watch the horse get impaled on the fence. That must have been terrifying.
Mm.
To my horror, they kept going and just went through the fence and vanished on the road. They were literally just gone into thin air. And I went through that day at work in an absolute fog.
I bet.
Honestly, that's the best case scenario because I feel like it would have been probably more traumatizing to have seen the horse get impaled on the fence.
I Different types of trauma, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, as someone who wants to see ghosts, I would have been like, "Holy fuck, that's so cool." But I can understand if somebody doesn't wanna see a ghost. That
right.
yeah. Well, that was the end of that story, and that was our last story. I feel like this
Oh,
episode is gonna be really short.
it's okay. I think they'll understand that I'm
Yes.
healing, but I'm here.
She's here. She's here, guys. She's trying.
And I just wanna say, if anybody's listening to this podcast and they're like, "Damn, like, Kelly, like, she lost a tooth, she got sick and lost her voice, she's had COVID, she just got in this accident," and you're like, it's like she's always here but healing. That is me.
That
That's
yeah,
me. I am a series of unintended accidents. That is my life. That's
that
how I
is
started.
definitely her
My
life.
mother did not want me. That's how I started. A series of unintended accidents.
That is the title of your autobiography,
It is.
Kelly.
And I have carried that energy all the way through from my starting point.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I don't love that for you, but I love that title for
Yeah.
your life. Well, that brings us to the end of this month's paranormal postcards.
If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. Your support helps us reach more listeners and share even more spooky stories.
And go follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Not My Ghost Podcast and on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem because we post a lot of fun stuff. So go do that. If you
Yeah.
aren't already, what are you doing with your life?
If you want even more ghostly content, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/notmyghost, We have some fantastic exclusive perks for our supporters.
And as you heard in the intro of this episode, it is still September. So if you go sign up, you get half off your first month,
That's right, half off,
basically free.
basically. And if you've ever had a spine-tingling paranormal encounter, share your story with us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com, and you will hear it featured on a future episode.
You will. We're pretty light on stories right now, so please go email us stories.
Send them in.
If we read your story today and you have said you had another story for us, please send it to us because we need them if we
We
want
do.
to do another episode anytime soon. So yeah, please do that. And I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, and Lynn,
Lynn,
Lynn, and Katie, send us your
I'm
damn stories.
I'm gonna once I can move, I'm gonna drag Katie over to my house, and then sit her down in front of the laptop, lock her in this room, and say, "You're not allowed to leave until you type that stories out."
Yeah, lock her in the room with the haunted dolls.
I will.
Yeah.
I
And be
will.
like, the quicker you write the story, the less chance you have of the dolls coming after you.
Right, and I'll remove all protections.
Yeah, all protections. She's gonna give them free reign on you, Katie.
That's right.
She's got some scary ones in there, so you better just write us that story before Kelly
Please.
heals.
Please.
Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey through the unsettling tales of our listeners. Remember, as you write in your spooky stories, keep this in mind.
If it is your ghost,
It is your problem.
until next time, stay spooky.
And stay skeptical.